I'm going to try and do this justice. Thank you for being here and witnessing it. This week, I watched a friend lose their mind, and it broke my heart. And in that broken heart, I got even clearer in my capacity to be this voice. I got clearer in the necessity to share from my heart and to share the stories of the burden of the pain, to be a safe place for others to share their stories and to share the solutions that heal the pain, and to be someone who takes that first vulnerable step of sharing and makes it even safer for everyone else to share and to heal. I know that we are here to change this world, to create the world we wish we had been raised in, and to create an even bigger shift in the human experience from this moment on. We are here together to make that change. We choose to nourish our bodies in ways that promote vitality, longevity, and vibrant health. We are clearing out even more of the junk of the past pain, past addiction, past emotional trauma, past self-harm, past pain of our ancestors, and the collective pain of this past culture. We know it can be a hard journey, and so we continue to show up and to stand here together and support each other. Together in community with kindness and with open hearts. We come to express gratitude, to share our stories, to listen and to be heard. Because we share our stories, when we share our stories, and I want to hear your stories tonight. When we share our stories, we powerfully pierce through the illusion of separation and stand together for what we want in life. Connection, love, living our great purpose of embodying this change together as one. I'd like to clarify before we start that I'm okay. I'm stable and I'm happy. Because some of this is dark and it's long and I've written it out and I wanted to perform it, and here I am performing it on flippin' Facebook because that's how I stretch myself to share. It's beautiful. And because I created it for you guys. There was this moment of pain and I just needed to create, because that's one of the things that I do that helps me deal with the darkness, yeah? So I'd like to clarify before we start that I'm okay and I'm stable and I'm happy, because some of this is dark and I want to make sure that you're able to hear the inspiration and to hear the message through the pain of this message, because it is dark. Wake up. A voice shouts through the night and my body is ripped from an otherwise peaceful sleep. It's black like the dark of winter and I can see the snow falling outside. My heart is racing. And my body filled with adrenaline. And I wonder, is he at the door again? Am I safe? A flash memory, my old roommate's hands reaching out to lock a door that is otherwise always open, because a friend of ours has become lost from their mind. Showed up in -10 with no shoes at their feet at the front door earlier this week. And locked doors help us feel safer, but it further harms and excludes one who's already very vulnerable and unstable. I love you. But it was a woman's voice that woke me, and my mind reaches out thinking about another friend. Was it her? Is she in crisis now? Again, too? Is she at my door? Was my phone on airplane mode? What if I missed a call, and what if they're not alive anymore? These are troubling times. Many of the people around me, including myself, experience mental illness, experience anguish, loneliness, paranoia, anxiety, and chronic pain of the emotional and the physical and the etherical and the soul. And if I look even just at my immediately circle of friends and family, there's 30 years of depression, 15 years bipolar, 8 years schizophrenia, 13 years fibromyalgia, 35 years alcoholism, 10 years anxiety, obsessive compulsive anxiety, schizophrenia, mania, suicidal, Crohn's, IBS, GERDs, insomnia, Lyme disease, Parkinson's, MS, psoriasis, chronic back pain, obesity, food addiction. The list goes on and on. These are all conditions of mental health or imbalance that people too close to me live with on a daily basis. Just a daily basis. Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, "The most important question you can ever ask is if the world is a friendly place." Driving through any big city, I'd say not really. There are moments of connection, moments of grace, but our culture isn't set up for community. It isn't set up for community. And while we're working to change that. Why? Because what's been happening isn't working. In fact, it's killing us. The first time someone in my close circle tried to commit suicide, I was 15. A good friend of my best friend attempted suicide. She was found and rushed to medical aid. My best friend was the last person she had spoken to before it happened. And she was consumed with guilt at having not done the right thing, not said the right thing, hung up the phone because she was tired and not been able to help. At 15, I'd been suffering emotionally for years already and had been daydreaming about dying for some time already. When I saw the aftermath of the guilt and the trauma upon my best friend, I decided then and there that I could never do that to another human being. I lived to spare my parents, my partner, my son, the pain of losing me, but I was not truly living for me. Nor did the decision not to kill myself stop the suicidal ideations or the self-destructive desires that I harbored for years in my mind on bad days. It didn't stop the depression from consuming what otherwise might have been glorious days on the beach with my young son, lovely family dinners, or falling in love. But it did stop any notion that I would ever truly act on the desire to die. Because of my parents, my partner, and my son, and sparing them the pain of losing me. I chose to speak to you today to say something about all of this, because a friend of mine is in crisis, another just barely out, maybe, for this moment. Another is stable, but only because of the pharmaceutical drugs that they hate to take, but that keep them safe in the short term. And those are only the ones I know about, only the ones who have spoken up and said something to me. Only the ones who have hit crisis so hard that we can't not notice. One of the things I often hear from people is I've tried everything. And I want to address that because I've felt that way for sure. I'm doing everything right and I still feel like this. And I say, if you feel you've tried everything, I'm here to say that it's likely you haven't. And even if you have you tried them all at once, consistently, for months and years on end, with support from the people around you and a vortex of ever-increasing dedication to self-care and community care and mutual support? Have you? Because there's always more we can do. Mental health is a complicated puzzle, and just one missing piece can make a massive difference and change everything for the better. I bet you've probably tried many different things, and it must feel terrible to feel helpless in getting better. I know what that feels like, and I've seen the impact that worrying about never being better has on people's mental health. We need to have hope. We need to have forward vision. We need to have a hope and a connection to the future and something better. And I need you to realize that the brain in pain is stuck in fight and flight and is literally not able to think of the solutions that are available, which is why it feels like there's nothing else we can do. And there are solutions, and there is recovery, and there is life without daily suffering. And I want to acknowledge you, whoever you may be, for all the things that you're doing to help yourself already. It takes a massive amount of bravery to start to make changes in our life, and even more strength to keep at them in the long run. So let's go through a checklist since I wrote it all out and see what you've already done and what else you may not have tried yet. The things that could be the thing that help you survive or even thrive this winter, because I know winter is challenging for most. I put together this little acronym that I don't know if it will really help me remember, but it makes me giggle. It's PUNDECAPS. Yeah. And it stands for purpose, unity, nutrition, detox, empathy, community, kindness, gratitude, art, perspective, and stories. And if you've tried all of those things simultaneously, over and over and over again, consistently, how could we not get at least a little bit better? So the first is purpose. Thanks, Candace. The first is purpose. Do you have purpose in your life? Something big you're working towards? A dream of how the world can be? Do you have someone or something that you're responsible for? Do you have goals to work towards? Without at least one of these, good luck. Even if it doesn't stick, choosing a responsibility, as simple as keeping plants or a pet alive, can save your life. I know that when I look back on the last 10 years, Alex was the thing that kept me alive. There was always this responsibility, can't break down too hard, have a small child. And that kept me dedicated to my self-care. And it's super important to have that and a dream of who I might be in the future, regardless of whether or not that dream is realistic or ever going to happen. Having that dream has been immensely helpful to my mind. Next is unity. Do you have a connection with oneness, with unity, with all that is? Do you meditate actually every day, even for just 2 minutes? And more importantly, when you're feeling emotional or mental or physical crisis, do you remember to breathe? That sacred breath that connects us to everything around us. Do you have a connection of intimacy with a person or a hobby or a practice that lets you feel deeply connected to the moment and life? Where do you find that sense of togetherness and flow? When you know what gives that sense of unity, when you know where you can find that and connect, even if you don't have that, make that part of your purpose, to find that connection, whether it's through meditation or through connection with another human being. We all have the capacity for that. And without it, life doesn't feel like living a lot of the time. Now, I spent a lot of years focusing on the mental and emotional side of mental health, because it's called mental health. It's about your mind, right? And it wasn't until this last year and the beautiful encounter with Daniel and the beautiful experience that I really opened up to understanding how much an impact nutrition has on mental health. And, this book, New Optimum Nutrition for the Mind, they speak about nutrition. They speak about dairy and wheat and cigarettes, as being things that in people with mental health issues often end up as habits and addictions, and that vastly increase the number of incidents of psychoses, incidents of overstimulation of the nervous system and crises. And it really stepped in and made me say, okay, this needs to happen. These things need to be out of my diet. And so, are you binge eating dairy or wheat or sugar or caffeine or fast food or processed food? All those things have to go. And it can be simpler than you think. There's really amazing NLP and hypnosis techniques that can help people radically shift how they look at their food and what they want. And a big part of the journey there is getting to the point where you're ready to actually have that appointment, because if it can really change you, it can be really scary for the subconscious mind that wants to stay stuck. And when you can see that, you can see that you need to cut these foods out and make it really clear to yourself and do it. Vast goodness is available. And even before you cut things out, it's like, are you supplementing your foods with the micronutrients that we really need, with magnesium, calcium, niacin, B vitamins, D vitamins, C vitamins, zinc, manganese, potassium, lecithin, probiotics, omegas, fish oils, all of them. Yes, all of them. Yes, every day. Yes, maybe for the rest of your life. If you've got that long second toe, which I talk about and I have some articles about. It could be the difference between madness and genius, and I know which side I want to be on, and I'm willing to find better and better ways to nourish my body, and I've seen so much improvement in having that as part of a self-care ritual. And I know that there was a moment of saving grace last fall. I started putting those things into my body, and I was like, everything's going to be okay. So we can't underestimate the power of nutrition to really transform the mind. Because when if you imagine the brain is a bunch of circuits, without lecithin, it's a building block of the brain. Without lecithin, imagine there's a bunch of copper wires just loose with no covering on them in your brain. Can you imagine why your thoughts run 1,000 miles a minute when you've got all these wires? When you put lecithin in, it puts a coating on each of the wires. It puts a coating on, like there's a plastic coating on each of the wires of the brain, and everything just slows down and seems more peaceful. Like it's magical. And that's just one of the pieces. Now, sometimes people complain that supplements are expensive and food is expensive, and I totally get it. Eating good, healthy, all the healthy foods are so important, and at the same time, a lot of people aren't getting, even if they're eating good food, they're not actually getting the nutrition, and that's because of all sorts of things, like molds and parasites and funguses and candida and other bacterial things that cause trouble in the digestive system. And never mind the detoxing your mind of your negative self-talk. There's physical detox, but then there's mental detox, and then there's social circle detox, and getting rid of the people that drag you down. And have you detoxed your Facebook of the crap that doesn't matter so that it's only inspirational beautifulness? And have you detoxed from mainstream media and Donald Trump? Like, if you're reading Trump articles, you're going to destroy your brain. It's designed to destroy your brain. Stop! Have you detoxed from Netflix or YouTube or even Gaia TV? If it doesn't bring you joy, you've got to let it go, whatever it is. The next phase of recovery, and this is only 3. There's so many things. That's why it's a pundekas. It's a long-ass word to talk about all the things that we can be doing. And if you're not doing all of them all the time, it's a journey. It's a journey to recover. So the next one is empathy. Do you have your people in your life you can talk to, even if it's a counselor, a friend who's been there, or parents, or even a helpline? Are the people people that you're speaking to offering you compassion and love? And if not, where can you get it? Have you learned to offer yourself empathy, even if there aren't others around you who can offer you that? Because the empathy we can receive from the people around us is reflective of the empathy that we're capable of giving to ourselves. And it's a tender journey. There's a quote that I want to end this on. It's from a mental health doctor. I was reading online and I found this article, and I just thought this was so touching and needed to be shared. He said, instead of giving them treatments and procedures that would often be a way to deal with my own anxiety about being a doctor and needing to heal them, I learned to listen into their eyes for their hurt, fear, anger, pain, guilt, shame, loneliness, and exhaustion. When I did that, one or more were always present and always screaming to be heard, and even more to be felt, so they didn't have to feel so alone in hell. And when I looked them into their eyes, they could tell that I was there with them, and that part of the reality of their world was okay. And I just think that there's so much that we can do. There's so much still to be done to create a network of connecting people, of keeping people close and safe and connected. And it's beautiful to have that. Beautiful to create that. Yeah. I had more I wanted to share, but I'm feeling super vulnerable, and like this is super long, and so I think I'm gonna share the other piece another day, and continue to share, because we are stronger together, and it's about sharing stories, and it's about, you know, breaking the cycle of abuse and self-abuse and this crazy... Did you know that in the 1930s they used to put babies in cages out windows in apartment buildings? Like, it was so wild. I just saw it the other day, and it's like, this generation, it's just like so many challenges in terms of healing the way that we interrelate. And yeah, we gotta do it together. So, we're gonna build a beautiful thing, and because we're here to change the world and create the world that we wish we had been raised in, and to create an even bigger shift in this human experience from this moment on. We together can make that change. Yeah, I'll let you guys. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I've been hiding. That's all I can do. I was like super vulnerable from the beginning, and really glad to be doing it. Thanks, Candace. You're beautiful. Love having you here. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And keep on spreading the love, because you guys are beautiful. We're all here. We're all here to share and help and open and wake up. So we all got to do our part. I love you guys. See you soon.